Hello, hello. Mrs. Machado here, and I'm just going to look at a couple of these examples of being able to fill in these tables of exponential functions that you've got to practice with. So if you look at number 10, I think I took this off of your page. It printed out for me though, so if you get to number 10 and it looks like this, just go B. Blah. No good. I should have fixed this, but I didn't. So I'm sure that you could probably figure it out. It's supposed to be g of x is equal to 5 times negative 1/3 to the n, but it's not. So don't worry about it. Go ahead and skip it, and we'll just look at the other 9 examples. Okay? There are only 9 problems here, and they are pretty straightforward. I'm not going to do all of them for you. Sorry, my daughter's singing. If we look at this one, you can see that it's multiplying as it goes up. You can find the pattern, fill these in. All of these are multiplicative. When we're looking at the formula, remember we've got y is equal to a times b to the n. Remember a is your 0th term, and then b is your multiplier. I'm going to do number 2 with you, and then I'm going to do one of them that's a decimal that isn't nice and pretty. Okay, so as I go from here to here, I have to figure out what am I multiplying by. This is times 5, times 5, times 5, right? So if I'm multiplying by 5 every time I go forward, then I can take this 3, 1, 25. I can just multiply it by 5 again to fill in my table. 31, 250 times 5 again. This box is kind of small for how big I write. There we go. And if I am working backwards, I don't even need my calculator for that. I can just divide by 5, right? So 25 divided by 5 is 5. Divided by 5 gives me 1. So I filled in my table. To move to the right, you multiply by, in this case, 5. My starting amount is 1. So remember, I've got y equals a times b to the n, so 1 times 5 to the n power. Okay? So if you're given your first one, great, that's a little bit less work. You can just go forward. If you're given some in the middle, you can go both directions. Okay? I'd like to look at now one of these. For this one, I could use these two that are by each other, and I can figure out my multiplier and keep going to figure out what I've got, right? For these ones, my multiplier is not very nice. And it even tells me the next 2 problems are harder because the number you multiply by is not a whole number. It's not a pretty one. So I'm actually going to look at this one right here. So in order to figure out what I multiplied by, I'm going to take 6.05 and I'm going to divide it by the one that came directly before it. Okay? So I've got 6.05 divided by 5.5, and I get 1.1. And now I'm going to test my theory. If I think that I multiply by 1.1, so I've got 5.5, I'm going to say times 1.1, I get that 6.05. If I multiply it by 1.1 again, now I've got my next number. Okay, so I could keep multiplying it out, and I can also divide to go backwards and fill in the rest of it. I'm not going to do the whole problem for you, but this is what we would be looking at to find my multiplier. You'll have to do the same thing here to find your multiplier. Okay, the last ones, this one's similar, except for it's going down, right? And we looked at this before. If they're going down, we're still going to take it, and we're still going to divide it. This one divided by that one. It doesn't matter that my littler one's up top. So 7.68 divided by 9.6, and I get a multiplier of 0.8, right? So it's not necessarily always going to be a nice number. Here, we've just got some ones where we're just plugging in to see what we end up with. There's an order of operations reminder here. Remember, we always do exponents and then multiply. But these you should be able to plug some stuff in and figure them out. These ones you're not doing as much problem solving and writing equations. Instead, you're given the equations and you're working from there. Okay? So remember, if you need anything, let me know. Hopefully this was a pretty quick and relatively easy week for you. Remember, email me, reach out, call, let me know, and I will get you the help you need. Have a wonderful weekend.